Hey you guys, welcome back to Heart Breathings. It is CampNaNoWriMo time, and I am more pumped up for my writing than I have been in probably a year, and I am so excited. I'm feeling the creativity flowing again, and I cannot wait to own Camp Nano. Now, because of that, I'm going to be setting a big goal. So in this video today, we're going to talk about the 5 ways I plan to set myself up for success, what I'm writing, and what my goal is going to be. I've also got a free workbook for you guys to download, and I'm excited. Let's get started. Okay, first things first, if you are new to this channel, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you would like to download this free workbook that I have for Camp NaNoWriMo, just go to the link down below in the description and you can sign up for my newsletter, and I will send you this as well as maybe 20 plus other free resources like how to plot your novel and more. If you're on my newsletter, check your email because you got a link to this in your email today. So what we're going to talk about today is really these 5 things that I'm doing to set myself up for success. But let's talk about Camp NaNoWriMo. I'm not going to go deep into it because we've talked about this a lot. So if you're curious and you're new to camp, there's a link down in the description that has a video where I go more deeply into the topic of NaNoWriMo. But National Novel Writing Month happens every November, where people say, I'm going to write 50,000 words. Camp Nano is like a mini NaNoWriMo in April and July every year, where you get to set your own goal. So you can write 50,000 words, or you can just say, I'm going to edit 5 chapters, or I'm going to write 10 blog posts, or I'm going to do my social media for, anything that you're writing, copy, blogs, edits, anything that you're doing. You could even use it for plotting and writing your index cards. It's much more free form, and you set your own goals. So there can be a lot less pressure if the time is right for you. But even if you're not doing Camp NaNoWriMo this month, these 5 tips are going to be sort of like hacks that you can use for getting your writing done or getting more done throughout the year. So let's start with those tips. Number 1, I am going to be setting a plan for myself in terms of where and when I'm going to be writing. So every day, the night before, I'm going to write down for myself in my notebook exactly when I'm going to write, where I plan to write, and what scenes I plan to write. So having that level of clarity and that level of routine, I'm hoping is going to help me in my quest for success in July's Camp Nano. So for example, July 1st, I already know that I'm planning to write in my writing office, and I'm going to write from 8 to 10 in the morning. Now, I have a pretty big goal for camp, which we'll talk about in a minute. So we'll see if that 8 to 10 is enough time to get me through those words, because I'm trying to write 3,000 words a day. But that's the first way I'm going to set myself up for success. And if it turns out I need 3 hours, then I'll start saying 8 to 11. But I'm trying to get my writing done first thing in the morning so that I'm fresh, I'm excited, I haven't checked email or gotten my head into my other to-dos for the day. So we'll see how that goes. But having a set routine is really my number 1 thing that I'm going to try for setting myself up for success in camp. Number 2 is all about visual progress. So I am a super visual person. If you've been around the Hearties community for a while and you've seen my Kanban boards and other things like that, having my progress and my goals front and center, literally out on the wall where I cannot ignore them, has been key to my success in the past. So why don't I try that for Camp NaNoWriMo? So there's a few things that I'm going to do for visual tracking. One is I have created a word count tracker, like a progress tracker in the Camp Nano workbook that will work for you no matter how many words you're writing this particular month. So you can kind of follow the little game board as you track your word count progress. So I am going to actually take that sheet out of here, and I'm going to hang it up on the door of my office so that when I go into that office every single day, I'm going to see exactly how far I've come, and it will be that visual reminder. And if I have a few days that I haven't filled it out, it's going to be calling to me like, okay, it's front, it's in your face. So that's one way, is having it up on the wall. You could also tape it to your desk, but once it goes inside a planner or notebook, for me, it's harder to keep track of because I have to open that planner to take a look at it. So I'm going to try having it out where it's just front and center. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use these little ramekins. So this is an idea that came to me when I was listening to James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, recently. So there's a salesperson who every day when they got to work, they had a jar full of 120 paper clips, and they would sit down and make a sales call. And when that sales call was done, they would move the paper clip into an empty jar. And basically by the end of the day, they will have moved all 120 paper clips from one jar to the other, and then it would be ready for them to restart that process tomorrow. And just the act of sitting down and making those calls is part of what made them so successful as a salesperson. So I thought, why not try that with my writing? So I grabbed these 2 plastic ramekins from Walmart. They were maybe $1 or less each. And on the bottom of them, I put little notes to myself like, you can do it. And then this one says, yay, you did it. So I have these little beads. These are basically like those pebbles that you can find at the Dollar Tree or at Walmart that you can fill vases with. And I like them, and I've got them in a couple of different colors. And what I'm going to do is each one represents 100 words. I'm going to try to write 3,000 words a day. So 3,000 words a day means I have 30. Right now there's only 20, but I'm going to put 10 more in here. So we'll have 30 in one of these ramekins. And every time I write 100 words, I get to move one into the second ramekin. So if I write 500 words, I get to move 5 over, and so on, until one ramekin is empty and the other one is now full. And I'm going to try that every single day for this quarter, and having that visual representation and something kind of fun, because I like the way these feel in my hand, and they're pretty and they make a nice little clinking sounds. I think this will be fun and motivating for myself, plus being able to see that message every day of you can do it. And then when I finish it, it says, yay, you did it. And knowing that I can feel good about my progress and actually share this on Instagram or anything else, that visual representation of it, that tactile experience of seeing the progress, I think is going to be really helpful for me. Number 3 that I'm using to set myself up for success is accountability. So for one thing, I have a really good friend named Jen, JD. She is also a writer, and we're planning to meet up at least 1, if not more, days a week to write. So having that writing buddy that I can meet up with. I also have my Heart Breathings writing community, which is a Facebook group, and we also have live sprints going on every day on YouTube. So I will leave a link for that down below. That is also accountability. Showing up for those live streams and hanging out with the community is a way to get motivated and stay accountable for your word count. I also have a Discord server. It's called Sarra Cannon's Coven, and it is originally was created just for fans of my books, but there are more and more hearties who are fans of my books, but also coming in to be, participate as part of the Heart Breathings community of writers. And we do have a special section of the Discord server called the Hearties Hangout. And in there, we have an accountability channel, and we also have a NaNoWriMo channel. We also have a sprints channel. So all of that I'm planning to really lean into over the month of July in terms of my accountability. So in the accountability channel, I'm going to post how many words I want to write for the day. And then I will also strike through that once it is done. And in the Camp Nano, I'm also going to update my word count every day and try to use that sprint channel as much as possible. So having other people in the community that I can really rely on, I think is going to be helpful with that accountability, because I know people are going to be checking in with me. There's another tool that I'm going to use though, and that is daily reels over on Instagram. So if you've been around for a few years, you know that I have been doing daily vlogs during NaNoWriMo in November, called the NaNoWriMo Diaries. And that is super time consuming and fun, but I don't have the bandwidth to do that here in July. So I thought I could do mini Camp Nano Diaries and do them over on Instagram. So if you want to come follow me there, I will be posting every single day in the month of July with my word count and how my writing is going in my just regular feed on Reels. So if you want to participate as well and have the community hold you accountable, let's use the hashtag Camp Nano Diaries, and it'll be like miniature vlogs of 30 seconds each, kind of going through how the day went. And I'm going to update them the day after. So on July 1st, I'll post a intro post, and then on the 2nd is when I'll post how I did on the 1st. On the 3rd, I'll post how I did on the 2nd. So it'll be one day off so that I can continually update how things are going. I think that's the pattern, but you can come follow me on Instagram at Heart Breathings. I would love to see you guys over there, and let's cheer each other on. So lots of ways that you can get that outer accountability. Number 4 is ease. So this is another thing that James Clear talks about a lot in his book, Atomic Habits, which is if you want to start a new habit, you have to make it easy. And so I started really brainstorming, how can I make my writing easier when I've been out of the habit for a long time, when I am very resistant to it because it's the final book in my series? What can I do to make it feel easier? So I've got a couple things that I'm doing. So one is that I have picked up these Bluetooth keyboards. So these are from Amazon. They're called Jellycomb, and I will link them down below for you, but they're super cute. I have one in mint green and I have one in this peachy pink color. I think I saw one in black as well, and there was one in purple at some point, but I haven't seen that one on the site lately. But basically these are Bluetooth keyboards. And since I write in Google Docs, I can write on any device. So I can write on my phone, I can be writing on my iPad, I can write on my Chromebook, whatever I want. But the key is making sure that wherever I am in the house, or if I'm out at Panera or the kids are outside playing, that I always have a device nearby that I can just sit down and do a sprint, so that if I don't get all my writing done during the morning or I get interrupted, I have other ways that I can write. So I'm planning to place these 2 keyboards strategically around the house in places where I don't have computers, so that I can make sure that I have either my phone, which is on me almost all the time, or my iPad, and it can just slide into this little place. And you can actually set 2 different devices. So these 2 little white buttons are the 2 devices. So I can have it simultaneously set to my phone and to my iPad. And all I have to do is just turn it on and it's immediately connected and I can start writing in Google Docs. So that hopefully is going to make things a little bit easier. Another thing that I'm hoping will make things easier is I want to get into a habit and a practice of every day when I'm done with my 3,000 words or whatever it is I'm writing for the day, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to make sure that I have an index card that lists out the scenes and the ideas that I have for writing tomorrow. So I'm not going to go to bed any night without a scene card made out for the next day, so that I can say, okay, every single morning when I wake up and it's time to write, I don't have to sit and think, what am I writing today? I don't feel like it. I'm going to have a scene in my head, like a scene from a movie, like, oh, this is the one where Jackson does XYZ. I've got to write it. And I think that's going to make it not only easier because I know exactly what I'm working on, but also more fun. So index cards is another one. Finally, number 5 is all about motivation. So I'm going to do what I can to continue to stay motivated for the writing. So part of why I'm feeling more creativity right now, whereas I was a little bit more unstable in my creativity over the past year, is we were moving around. Our house wasn't settled. We had a lot going on in our lives, and it made it harder for me to really focus on my creativity. So over the past few months, I have been sort of romancing my creativity a little bit by indulging in things that feel really good, cleaning up and decorating my space, like getting these shelves put together. And I've been gaming more, spending more time with the kids without my phone nearby, and just really enjoying being outside more often, feeling the grass on my feet and things like that. The simple things that have made such a big difference when it comes to reigniting my creativity. I've also been prioritizing more sleep lately, and I have been really working on my mindset. So when it comes to what I'm working on for this Camp Nano, I'm going to be working on book 12 of my Shadow Demon saga. This is the final book in the series. I've been talking about it on this channel for a year because the previous book, book 11, came out last June at the end of the month. So we're about at a year since my last book, which is unusual for me to take so long. And like I said, I don't really have any excuses for it other than the fact that my life has been a bit up in the air in terms of our situation. So instead of allowing myself to get to that mental place where I'm like, it's been a year, you're doing terrible. Sometimes I can speak really negatively to myself and get wrapped up in a lot of anxiety. Part of my motivation is that I'm going to be really careful with my inner thoughts. So whenever I hear some negative thoughts start to come in that make me feel less than creative, like it's taken you too long, people are upset, it's not coming together. Whenever I hear those types of voices in my head, I'm going to be very kind and gentle with myself and say, you're doing great. And I'm going to really start to encourage myself. And I know that's going to play into motivation, but sometimes it takes like making that commitment to speaking to yourself with love and encouragement instead of letting those negative thoughts spiral. So even if I get way behind, I'm going to focus on loving myself, appreciating myself, and the joy of writing rather than the hustle of it. So I have a big goal for this month, and what I'm setting my goal at this month is 60,000 words. So there's 31 days in the month of July. So if I write on average 2,000 words a day, I should hit my goal or go a little over. But there's always days that I need for buffer days. Like I'm probably not going to work on July 4th. I have a couple of meetings. I'm speaking in a couple of podcasts and other events. And Publish and Thrive is launching this month, which is a lot of work. So I'm going to try to set myself up for success by starting with 3,000 words a day and giving myself buffer time on those days when I need it. But even if I get behind, I'm going to work on speaking to myself with kindness and excitement and really focusing on the joy of the writing and thinking about how far I've come with this series, what an accomplishment it is, and really becoming a cheerleader for myself instead of someone who's like punishing myself for the mistakes that I've made in the past. And I think that cheerleader mentality is going to be like, let's do it. Okay, so those are the 5 things that I'm doing. Oh, also, I'm going to be giving myself rewards. So for every 5,000 words that I write, I'm going to open up a Tokidoki blind box. I have an entire drawer full of these. I did get to open one of these, and several of you asked what I got. So I got this super cute Gudetama. I don't know if that will... There we go. So this is a Tokidoki Unicorno with a Sanrio collab. And so there's a little lazy egg Gudetama on the back, and it's so cute. So I display these on my shelves or up in my gaming room. I have a bunch of shelves on the wall up there. So I get to open a new one of these, or I have pins and t-shirts and other things that I have purchased. So I'll get to grab one of those from the drawer every time I hit 5,000 words, which truthfully, if I'm hitting my goals, should be every other day or at least every third day. So that's going to be really fun. I think I am going to start over the next few days thinking about what would be a really awesome, like 60,000 words you did it kind of goal. So that's going to be really fun. But let's quickly set up my project over on the NaNo site, and I'm going to walk you through what's in this workbook. It's very similar to the one we had last camp, and let's get into it. Okay, so let's just sign up for the next Camp NaNoWriMo. So all you do is go to NaNoWriMo.org, which is the site they have for all the camps and all the events. And up in the top right, you'll see sign in. So you just sign in over there. And if you've participated in camps or any nanos before, you'll see your projects here in the main section, or you can go to My NaNoWriMo and click on profile or stats or projects. And that's going to take you all to those main spaces. If you go to projects, it's going to go to all your previous projects that you've used before. So you can actually just connect Camp Nano to your same book that you've been writing before, but just with a new event. And that's what I'm going to do. So you can see I actually have it twice because I had created a new one for Nano, but I deleted all of those words. So I'm going to go back to this SDS book 12 over here, and I'm going to click create a new goal. You could also just create a new project if you wanted to. But here's the key is that you have to click associate with a Nano event and associate it with NaNoWriMo July, right? That way you've got your goal, and it's only going to let you choose writing or editing. So even if you're doing something different, then just don't worry about what they call. I'm going to be writing, and my word count goal is going to be 60,000. If you wanted to say I'm editing and I'm hoping to spend 120 minutes editing or 120 hours editing or whatever it is, you can just put in 120. If you want to do 10 chapters, you could just put in a 10 because they don't have any way for you to mark whether it's a chapter or a word count goal. So just put in whatever metric you're trying to use and whatever the closest number is. So if you were going to do, let's say 20 chapters, you could just put in a 20 as your word count goal. And then every time you finished a chapter, you say you got one word, which I know sounds kind of weird, but that's the best way they have to track it. So then you don't have to put in a start and end date because it's already set up and associated with camp. So now I've already got that project set up. If you were starting a brand new project, then you could go over here and say announce new project. And you just want to make sure that you click to associate it with Camp NaNoWriMo. And then you can put in a book cover and whatever else you want. But that's basically going to sort of restart and reset all of your badges and other things for this particular event. So down over here, see these badges? These are my badges from last July when I was still working on this same book. So you can go to this drop down and click see the badges for this camp, and it's going to have reset all of those badges for you if you want. And then every day when I come in to write, I'm going to get a chance to just come in here and update that word count, and we'll be off to the races. Okay, you guys, so let's take a look at the brand new CampNaNoWriMo workbook. So here's the cover. You can get this for free when you sign up for my mailing list, or if you're already on there, you should have a link to this. It's in my free resource library, which is full of how to write a series, how to plot a novel, how to work with editors. There's tons of good resources in there, and there's lots of word count trackers. So if you don't like the look of the ones that are in here, just kind of take a look around in there and see if you can find something else that you like for a word count tracker if you want to use something. Now, there's also the NaNoWriMo Preptober workbook from last year that has a meal planner in it. So look for the NaNoWriMo Preptober workbook from 2021. So here's the cover. And then I put a quote here that says, "The true alchemists do not change lead into gold. They change the world into words," by William H. Goss. Actually, that should be 2 S's. So I need to, this will be edited before it goes live tomorrow. So Rewards Planner is basically a place for you to put whatever milestone you're trying to achieve and then whatever reward you want to have. So if you were writing, for example, 50,000 words during camp, you could put 10K, 20, 30, 40, and then 50. But if you were doing, let's say you were going to try to do 20 chapters, you could also put 4 chapters, 8 chapters, chapter 12, and so on until you got to whatever you were trying to get to. So you can just handle those rewards however you would like to. Then this is where we have the planner for the month. And this is one thing that I always talk about, and I'll just cover briefly here again, is that sometimes when you look at the month, you think you have, like in July, oh, I've got 31 full days to write. But the truth is, maybe July 4th, if you're here in the US, maybe you have family events that are going on and you're not going to be able to write that day. Maybe you have a dentist appointment over here, or you have a birthday party to go to. And so you might have to work in some buffer time. So if you planned to write, say, 31,000 words and you were just going to write 1,000 words a day, but you weren't taking into consideration the fact that you have 4 days throughout the month that you're going to get 0 words in that day, or it's going to be really tough to get 1,000 words in, then you wouldn't be planning really for the time you have and you'd end up behind. So in order to set yourself up for success, I have a little plan here where you mark off any days this month that you won't be able to work. So also to let you know, this is a Sunday start, but there's 2 versions of this in the resource library. One is also a Monday start if you prefer that. I did not make an A5 version this time, but if you want to, you could print this in booklet style and it will print it for a half letter, which will fit in your A5 planner. So choose whether or not you want to add in any buffer days. And actually the 17th is when Publish and Thrive opens for enrollment. So I'm probably not going to work that day either. So do I want to also add in any buffer days? So I'm already at -4. Like I need to take 31 days to -4. Do I want to add in any time for days when I might have a migraine or I don't feel well? Subtract this from 31, because usually for camp and for NaNoWriMo, we only have 30 days. So I'm going to change that out. So we say 31 days total -6, and we get 25 working days for the quarter. So I'm going to take my goal of 60,000 words. So divide your custom target. So for me, the target is 60,000 words divided by 25 days gives me a goal of 2,400 words a day. So for me, I'm going to aim for 2,400 words a day. And then step 5, of course, is to follow through with your plan. If you said that you wanted to write 15 chapters, or if you said you wanted to edit, let's say 50 pages, for example, then you just do the same thing. You get your, whatever your number of days is, and then you would say 25 days. So I need to do 2 pages a day to stay on track. Then these days that you were taking off, you can take them off without guilt. And sure, you have to write a little bit more every day to hit that goal, but you get ahead, you stay on target, and even if you have a day throughout the month where you had a migraine or something came up, instead of getting stressed because you're way behind and you've got to make it up, you've been adding a little extra on to your daily target. So you should be still okay. Then you have a little place here to put your Camp Nano target. So you would put the title of your book, your goal, your daily target that you just figured out, and then any notes that you have. I would recommend to use this section to say when and where you're going to work. Like, I'm going to try to work every day from 8 to 10 in the morning. I'm going to hold myself accountable by this way. I'm going to have this for my meal plans. Any type of plan that you can create to set yourself up for success, and any commitments that you want to make to yourself about, I'm going to do this month, write it in this notes section. Then we have a couple of different word count targets. So I explained this one a little better in last camp's video for the April camp. So I will link that down below. And then I made a couple of new ones that I've never used before for this particular camp. So these are kind of fun. So this first one is Camp NaNoWriMo Progress. And basically what you do is you put what's your target for the day. So for me, my target for day one is 2,400 words. And then I would just populate this out if I wanted to ahead of time. So I could put 4,800 by this day. I want to be at 6,000 by day 3. Or I could just start with 2,400 and adjust as I go, so that if I have a day that I miss or anything like that, I can just skip it and then add a new total on. Or if I have some words I need to catch up with at the end of the month, I can add those in. But then at the end of the day, on day one, I'm going to come in and I'm going to write my actual progress that day. So let's say I got to 2,462, then I could leave some notes and say, yay, I'm ahead, or whatever. And you could say, I'm having a great day, or it's going so well, or I really struggled today. So you could really do it one of two ways. You could put 2,400 on every page, like my target for each day is 2,400, or you could put the word count total. It's really just however you want to use it and what makes sense to your brain. Then I made this fun Camp NaNoWriMo game board. So I just thought this would be kind of a fun, different way. And this is actually the one that I'm going to use. And of course, I'm going to cover some of these things with washi tape and make them pretty and use stickers. And the way I'm going to use this is you have these squares for every single day of the month. And so you've got 31 days in this month. You're going to start here. And each day I use it, I am going to put my word count for the day. So I probably will put my rolling word count instead of how many words I wrote that day. I'll write how many words I have total. So let's say day one, I wrote 1,600 words. Then day two, I came in and added 400 words. So then I would say I'm at a total of 2,000. And then maybe by day three, I'm at a total of 4,000. And I'm just going to keep going until I hit the end. Probably I don't have a, colored pencil here with me, but I'm probably also going to color these in each day in a different color so that it becomes really colorful. And I'm going to put this up on my wall. And if you wanted to, something else that you could do is you could put when you won your rewards. So let's say you had that rewards tracker over here and you said that at 5,000 words, I'm going to give myself a trip to Starbucks. So by day 4, if you got 5,000, you could also kind of like decorate this square a little extra, and you could put a little target out here and say Starbucks, and you could remind yourself so that later it kind of becomes like a little memory keeper of when you got it and how you did. And I will be sharing my progress on Instagram. Use the hashtag CampNaNoDiaries, which is what I'm going to call my reels for 31 days. So this should be really fun. I hope you enjoy this. You can use any of those trackers. And like I said, there are more you could use them all. You could use all of them, whatever you want to do. There's more in the resource library too. And then I just have this little sign here that says, go away, I'm writing. So if you wanted to, you could put this on your office door, and then you could have your word count on one side and this little sign, go away, I'm writing. Then at the end, there's just a little message from me. This is similar to last NaNoWriMo. And I've got a link here if you're using it on PDF to go to my Preptober playlist, my resource library. Of course, you can only get this link if you're on my newsletter list, and then a link to my social media and our writing sprints group, where we'll have like some extra writing sprint things going on throughout the month. So that is the workbook, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't want to join my mailing list, that's totally fine too. You can just maybe try to recreate these for yourself, or you can always just join the list and then pop right back off. But I think you'll enjoy the list. It's really fun and it's a great community. So come join us over there. All right, you guys, that's it for my Camp NaNoWriMo goals. It's a big one this time. I'm very hopeful that it's going to be amazing. I hope that you enjoy the workbook. And if you do, please tag me over on Instagram at Heartbreathings and use that hashtag CampNaNoDiaries if you decide that you want to do your own updates over in Reels. And I would love for you to follow me over there. If you are new to this channel and you enjoyed this video, definitely take a look around. I've got more than 300 videos about planning, productivity, and tips on how to write and finish your book. So I would love for you to hang out and subscribe, hit that like button, and leave me a comment down below letting me know if you're participating in camp or if you're just doing your own thing this month, what you're currently working on. I would love to also be a cheerleader for you. So I'm excited. Let's get it going. Next week, I will have a video on my Q2 review and resetting my Q3 goals. And then after that, in the entire month of July, my videos are going to be focused on how to write scenes that keep your readers engaged. So I'm really excited about that series of videos coming up. And I would love for you to be a part of it as we start talking more about writing in the coming weeks. All right. I love you guys. I'm cheering you on throughout camp, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.